Violence during the Muslim month of Ramadan shows no signs of abating. Rocket fire from Gaza and clashes in Jerusalem ramped up during Israel's Passover holiday. And this time, there's an added friction. The trouble is threatening to topple Prime Minister Naftali Bennett's coalition government. Israel's Iron Dome defense system knocked down the missile, and the military retaliated by taking out a Hamas weapons manufacturing site. While no group claimed responsibility for the rocket attack, Israel holds Hamas responsible for what happens inside Gaza. The confrontation follows weeks of terror attacks inside Israel that's left 14 dead, dozens wounded, and days of rioting on the Temple Mount. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett accused Hamas of inciting the violence.
There are those who are encouraging rock throwing and the use of violence against the citizens of the State of Israel. This is a reward for the inciters, especially Hamas, which are trying to ignite violence in Jerusalem.
Itamar Marcus of the Palestinian Media Watch told CBN News back in February, PA leaders called for popular resistance.
Now, what does that mean? That means that all the PLO leadership, all the PA leadership are calling for violence of individuals with knives, with guns, and especially focused on the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So this is coming from the top.
Marcus says Palestinian Authority leaders, like the top Islamic advisor to PA President Mahmoud Abbas, have called for religious violence during Ramadan. He said Ramadan is not a month of laziness, but rather a month of activity, of effort, and of hard work. And as it also was in the life of the Prophet, a month of jihad, conquest, and victory. For the first time in decades, the Muslim month of Ramadan, the Jewish Passover, and the Christian celebration of Easter have come at the same time. During Passover, Jews have been attacked in the Old City. Palestinians have thrown rocks at buses carrying Jews to the Western Wall and stockpiled stones on the Temple Mount, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque has been the epicenter of clashes with Israeli police. On the official PA TV prayer for Ramadan, an imam declared, "Allah, liberate the Al-Aqsa Mosque from the defilement of the evil Jews."
Palestinians are a very religious people. Ramadan is the most important month of the year. When Palestinians hear this, they feel that in order to be a good Muslim, they've got to attack Israelis, supposedly in defense of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So this is all something that's happening from the top. Palestinians wouldn't be collecting stones if they weren't being directed from their leadership to do this.
The violence, especially on the Temple Mount, also threatens Prime Minister Bennett's government. Mansour Abbas, the head of an Islamic party that's part of the government, could leave the coalition. Since the Knesset is now split 60 to 60 seats, his 4 seats would collapse the government and likely lead to new elections. Well, Jerusalem Deputy Mayor Flor Hassan Nahum told journalists there's more to the Palestinian rioting than what many are claiming.
What we see here actually is a very deliberate strategy to try and get images out into the Muslim world that will malign Israel and will make people believe, and they're doing this constantly on social media, that somehow the status quo of Temple Mount is in danger, is under threat. The feeling amongst Muslim communities around the world that the status quo is changing, that Haram al-Sharif has been taken over and Muslim worship is no longer going to be allowed, that Haram al-Sharif, Temple Mount, is going to be divided. These are the incendiary, incitement, and false fake news that are being spread at the moment through the different social networks. The most important thing for Jerusalem, for the state of Israel, is freedom of worship, which is what we sanctify here in the city.
As you can see, the threat of rocket attacks is very real for Israel, and experts are always aiming for better protection. Now Israel has successfully tested a new defensive laser system that experts say will work alongside the Iron Dome to enhance the country's border protection. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has that story.
It's called Magen Or in Hebrew, or light shield.
It marks the first time that a high-power Israeli-made laser system successfully intercepted various targets, constituting a breakthrough on a global scale.
The system is a joint project of the Defense Ministry and Rafael, a defense technology company.
The successful tests complete key milestones in the development of what will be the first operational high-energy laser system in the world. We have introduced cutting-edge technologies to intercept a variety of threats in complex scenarios.
We were able to intercept a variety of threats such as mortars, rockets, and drones.
The new system will be integrated with the Iron Dome anti-rocket system, which has been effective against rockets fired across the border shared with the Gaza Strip. Last year, during Israel's 11-day war with Gaza, terror groups fired more than 3,400 rockets at Israel. More than 90% heading for populated areas were intercepted by Iron Dome, and the interceptors cost up to $100,000 each. The laser system will be more cost-effective. In addition to this ground-based system, the IDF is also developing a platform-mounted laser system to defend troops in the field and an aerial laser system to intercept threats from the air and to defend large areas on the ground.
The success of the high-power lasers live-fire test is a significant accomplishment for the security of the people of Israel.
Brigadier General Yaniv Rotem says the tests are just the beginning of their plan to position multiple laser transmitters along Israel's borders during the next decade. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Alpha.